What we want to do in this lesson is find out how we can determine the distance between 2 points on the number plane. And what we're going to see is that this equation down here, where AB equals everything that's inside that square root sign, that is actually the formula that we want, and that it's actually derived from Pythagoras' theorem. Now, to make that link, looking at the blue line that joins point A and point B, how about we create a right angled triangle from that line? And we're going to label this side over here A, and the base we'll label B, which means that the hypotenuse of that triangle, the distance AB, we'll label that one C. And traditionally we would write Pythagoras' theorem as being C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Now our problem is that we don't know what A is just yet, so we're going to try and find out what this length of A is. The length of A is actually, if you stop and think about this, it's the y value for point B minus the y value for point A. So it will be C squared is equal to, the value of A is going to be y2 minus y1, and we'll just make that all squared. And similarly, if we look for the length of B, here's the length of B down the bottom here, then it'll be the x value for point B and take away the x value for point A. That means for B we'll have x2 minus x1, and then that will be all squared. Now what we want is actually to have C, not C squared. So in order to find out what C is, we find the square root of everything that we've just looked at there. So it'll be the square root of y2 minus y1 all squared plus x2 minus x1 all squared. And that is in fact very much like the formula that we're trying to get. The only difference being that the x terms and the y terms are in reverse order. So if I rearrange those x terms and y terms, then I'll end up with an identical expression. We can have x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. And that's our formula for finding the distance between 2 points on a number plane, and we've derived that through Pythagoras' theorem. Now for some of the more observant people, you'll see that down here in the formula that we've started off with, the x1 and the x2 term, those two terms are in the reverse order than the x1 and the x2 terms that I've derived. In fact, it doesn't matter what order the x terms and the y terms are in, because once we've squared x1 minus x2 or y1 minus y2, once we've squared them, then they're always going to be positive and they're always going to be of the same size, which gives us the result that we really want to have, which is a positive distance. That's how we determine the distance between 2 points on the number plane.